We head to the Fogo Charcoal Hotline and welcome back friend of the show, Danielle Bennett. Dee, what's up?
Hey, good. Everything's awesome.
So
I guess that's the best way to put it.
Where are you in this worldwide country of ours right now?
Well, right now I'm actually in the country, which is a nice change. I'm actually at a dinner party with my friends in Houston, all barbecuers. There's 14 of us at dinner, and I just stepped out to take this because you and I booked this so long ago, and I said for sure I would never cancel on you. So I just literally stepped out away from my bourbon to come and talk to you, Greg.
Well, Danielle, I mean, the honors are supremely high that you would do that. So I'm certainly not going to extend the time that I thought we were going to do because I'm not going to take you away from these. Is there anybody you want to name drop, by the way?
Oh, of course. I've got to name drop, Aramalekian, Chef Aramalekian. I've got to name drop Rogel's Barbecue because they're who I'm here with. I've got to name drop, of course, Packy Saunders, of course, Simon and his beautiful wife, Isabel. Yes. And, I'm so lucky that Andrea and her husband, Joe, could come. One of the great things is then I had a friend that drove 3.5 hours to come have dinner with us tonight, Jay McBride. Wow. I'm so blessed to have so many amazing barbecue family everywhere in the world. I'm totally blessed.
Danielle, I mean, you're away from it, but make your home in Florida. I mean, from a hurricane standpoint, everything good over there at the home base?
Well, that's actually why I'm here in Houston early is because originally when we saw the storm fronts coming through and it started, increasing, I have an event here on Thursday in Austin, actually, for Duluth. And so I ended up coming in a couple of days early to hang with some friends here in Houston to make the best of the situation. My house is completely secure. Everything's battened down. The winds are starting to pick up. I'm getting hourly updates from my house and, praying that nobody gets hurt through all of the states. That's all we can all pray for.
Danielle, are you a believer in hunker down, or are you a believer in if they tell you to get out, get out?
I think there's a reason they tell you to get out. Get your ass out. Get safe. I mean, here's the thing. A house can be replaced. You can't be. Stuff can get replaced. You can't be. My family and my friends are much more important than any house or, piece of equipment or anything else. Get the hell out if they tell you.
All right, we're talking with Diva Q here on the show. Happy to have her back. And let's go ahead and start with a little TV show talk here this evening. Obviously, the premiere was Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on Food Network, so a huge channel to be a part of for sure. Talk to us a little bit about the show and how it kind of the genesis started and how you were approached to be a part.
Well, this actually started a while back. I turned down the last, 4 or 5 projects on TV. I just wasn't interested. In all honesty, I just really had no interest in being back on TV. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with the way my career is unfolding. And I turned them all down. And then they proposed this show to me, and I like the format a lot. I've been doing this 13 years. I'm an OG now at this point, an original. And so one of the things is that the show's format really showcases people that actually have a level of skill set. And then, it's almost like an Iron Chef kind of situation where, I don't really have a lot to prove anymore. I mean, I'm still learning, and you're still growing every day because you never stop learning. But at the end of the day, if somebody wants to challenge me, I want to take them on. And that's what was really attractive to me.
When you look at, is that the biggest differentiator from, whether it's a Chopped Grill Master thing or, a week or two prior to your show coming out, there was the barbecue brawl thing. I mean, is that the biggest differentiator in your opinion? It's let's call it a barbecue Iron Chef concept to a high level?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agreed to do it because of that. I've worked really hard to hone my craft, as do most other barbecuers. And to get the opportunity to showcase them is a big part of it for me. There's not much I can't cook out there. And every time you go out and you cook something, you can learn a little bit more about it. Or, in my case, I've traveled the world now learning about barbecue, and I'm not ever going to stop that. But I love the fact that we could actually consider ourselves definitely a really good level of pitmasters. That's what we are.
When you are being told about the show, how much detail are they giving you? Do they tell you who the other two, pit masters are going to be? They're going to be, working alongside of you? Or are they kind of keeping you in the dark a little bit on some things and just looking to get you in? What's that setup like?
Well, originally you get the format and you say, okay, the format is something I'm interested in. And then the secondary part, of course, is who are you going to be with, okay? Because if it's somebody you genuinely dislike or you don't get along with or whatnot, then you're not going to mesh well. It's not going to have a vibe, right? Any TV show has to have a vibe and it has to have something, or it actually has to have a lot of drama. I'm not out about the drama stuff, okay? That's bullshit, and I'm not interested in it whatsoever. So this is one that, I've known Kerry for many, many years. Yeah. He was actually on my own show on Barbecue Crawl. I respect his skill set immensely. I've eaten at his restaurant tons of times. Mo is this big barbecue personality, and, he's done very well with himself with his barbecue personality. And so I like the characters. I liked who was going to be on the show. So because of that, in addition to the format, that's why I agreed to it.
Do you think Mo gets the respect he deserves, or does he get the right amount of respect? Because I get, I feel like some people are a champion of him, and then I feel like some people think that maybe he hasn't done whatever enough is in order to get these shots on TV.
Well, I think you can ask that of any pitmaster, right? Who is there to decide what is enough? I've only won 15 U.S. Grand Championships. That's it. But if you put anything in front of me, I can cook it. I've owned 65 barbecues. Maybe that's not enough. I've traveled the world. Maybe that's not enough. I don't know. At the end of the day, if it fits for the show, then I'm good for it.
All right, so as we are taking in that first episode, I mean, I would assume like most TV stuff, you're seeing the finished cut for the first time, or did you guys have access to it in advance?
I didn't want to see it in advance. I saw it when you guys saw it.
All right, so what was your kind of first smack of how you saw the first episode unfold? Were you pretty happy with it?
Well, I've done TV so much now on so many different programs that I thought this one was actually exceptionally well edited, in all honesty. I thought the lighting was really good, too. A lot of times when it comes to barbecue shows, one of the challenges of actually shooting barbecue shows is actually the lighting. It's really a challenge to shoot barbecue as a whole because most of the meats are mahogany, dark red colored. Mm-hmm. Most of the pits are dark colored. So I thought the lighting and the editing was really well. I thought the show flowed really well in regards to making sense. All the dots seem to connect for me, and I'm super uber critical when it comes to any of this kind of stuff. I really thought it flowed well. I thought it connected the dots for the viewer. At the end of the day, I thought it was a really successful show.
How many episodes are going to be because I was looking for like when the next show was going to be, and it didn't seem like there was anything that had been solidly put up on the Food Network website yet.
Right now, I can tell you that they're deciding it right now. Oh. So I can't answer that. That would be up to Simple Alien, which is the production company, and the Food Network themselves.
So could it just be a one-off show Sunday?
Yeah, it could be, potentially. You never know. Because, one of the things about programming and slotting time slots is that you could still make a good show and it may not fit a time slot. Or you can make a great show and the advertorial dollars might not be there. So at this point, you'd have to ask those questions from Food Network or Simple Alien.
All right, so, then let me ask you another question that you're probably not going to be able to answer because I'll just ask it anyway. I mean, were there multiple episodes shot, or did you just shoot that one and that was it?
We shot one.
Wow.
The one you guys got to see. Yep. And it's like I said, it's going to air again tomorrow on the Cooking Channel.
Yep.
And so we're going to get to see it again on the Cooking Channel. I know it's been well received, and that's all I know right now.
All right, we're talking with Danielle Bennett, Diva Q, and are you still divaq.ca, or did you change any of that?
Well, if that idiot that owns .com, and I hope you're listening, could stop selling your stupid ass automotive products, I'd love to buy divaq.com. I've been trying for 10 years now to buy it.
Really?
In fact, we're actually, I have trademark lawyers, and we actually are probably going to go forward with a trademark infringement case at this point. And so I am still .ca, even though, next year I'll be an American citizen. So I'm still working on it. I've got lots of trademarks out, and unfortunately, this person that's over in China is causing me great chaos. How about that?
Are they looking to, are they saying, well, you can have it if you buy it for X amount, or are they not even willing to negotiate?
They're not even willing to negotiate.
Really?
I've got banks to pay for it, and we kind of set it aside a couple years ago.
Yeah.
as a planned future growth.
Sure.
Of course, I own like, I don't know, 40 other websites as well, different, companies and businesses and things like that. But yeah, I'd really love to own DivaQ.com. I would love to own it. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. What do we always do? We all go to Google, we type in DivaQ, or we type in Greg Rempe, and you know what? It comes up without any hesitation. So I'm really, you know what? It is what it is. I can't change it.
All right, DivaQ.ca for now, but we'll see how that progresses. So let's talk a little bit high level on barbecue television. I think, we've talked or waxed poetically over the last couple of years where Barbecue Pitmasters, the show, and so let's call that the Harry Sue, one where it was more kind of like real reality television where they followed a bunch of teams around. That morphed into another season of Pitmasters, which looked drastically different, and then so on and so on. So there was that golden era of new barbecue show television on the TV. A lot of people that I had talked to subsequently on this show said, hey, I was sparked in some form or fashion by watching a Barbecue Pitmasters show. And maybe we're off of that Pitmasters flow. So should we be looking for another barbecue TV show to continue or revive that spark? Should we be away from that and just looking at something completely different? What do you think?
I think none of that matters. You know what matters in TV? Money. What matters in TV is advertorial dollars. Nothing else matters. And if people are looking for that, genuine barbecue content or that type of format, it really does only come down to dollars. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. It doesn't matter if you have a horribly written show. It doesn't matter if you have a horribly scripted show. What matters is if XYZ Corporation is willing to give the network that it's being played on so many dollars, that's what matters. And so you're hopefully, I'm proud of the show we did. I'm really, truly, genuinely proud of Barbecue Beatdown. I thought it was really well done. Whether it gets the, more play or there's another type of program out there, I hope so, but it really doesn't come down to the content. It comes down to the advertorial dollars. The entire landscape of TV and viewership is changing, as we know. We've got Hulu and we've got Netflix and we've got every other, on-demand service and program. So the general advertorial programs that went in the format of TV, like the prior episodes of Pitmasters and things like that, that's all changing. All of TV landscape is changing to suit this on-demand need that we all have, this impatient, okay, I only want to watch 22 minutes, I only want to watch 24 minutes, and what advertorial dollars are going to pay for that. So I don't know if there's an easy answer to that question, Greg, but I'll tell you right now, I've done this long enough to know you can make the best program in the world. You can make a program that's gone to many, many countries, and it will not get picked up if it's not enough advertorial dollars. That's all that matters.
Do you think
that's what it comes down to? It comes down to money.
Do you think also that maybe because of, I'm going to use YouTube as an example, that, I can make, let's say I have a pretty decent personality. I know somebody that can edit really well. I get that good lighting like you were talking about. And maybe I'm not as motivated to get on television when I have access or I can feed a niche through YouTube like, Pit Boys had done for many years, but now more and more. I mean, people are picking up cameras, Danielle, and talking about their life for 15 minutes, their boring, pathetic life for 15 minutes a day, and they upload it, and they have 3 and 4 and 5 million viewers, and they're making a shit ton of money, and it boggles my mind because I could never do that. But there are so many other outlets out there right now that tradition maybe is not the norm anymore.
It isn't the norm anymore. That's why you have people that are experienced pitmasters going up against an insta-famous person who doesn't know squat about cooking. I mean, squat, okay? Literally goes online, steals a recipe, posts it on YouTube, posts it on Instagram, posts it on, TikTok, or posts it on Snapchat. All of a sudden, they have a 4 million person viewership. Those companies, once again, are coming in and saying, well, you have 4 million people watching this. So we don't care if your content's valid. We don't care if it's real. We don't care about any of those things. But here, we're going to give you a check for $25,000 for a 15-second spot because your viewership warrants that money. It's a challenging time to go forward if you are an authentic person with integrity sometimes. It really is. Because at the end of the day, there are so many Insta-famous people out there getting paid for nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
What's going on with Duluth? What are you up to?
Oh, you know what? I'm a woman of Duluth. I agreed to work with them. I really like the brand. I wear their clothing regularly. I'm a big fan. One of the things for me is that I turn down more companies than I take. I'm really careful about who I associate my name with. I'm one of those integrity-filled people. I'm good with that. Monetarily, it's cost me over the last few years, and I'm actually still okay with that because I only work with brands I truly believe in. So for Duluth, I am one of their pit masters and addition, a woman of Duluth, and so I'm one of their brand spokespeople. Yep, and I'm enjoying the relationship immensely.
So what do you like? What gets your goat about Duluth brand clothes versus whatever the competing brand would be? What do you like best about it?
I really think they're really well made. I think they stand behind their clothes. All the men that I know wear their underwear. They love their jeans. I just think that it's a quality product by a quality company. And I really like the people that I work with. It's the same with Traeger. I really respect the people I work with. I respect how they run their businesses, how they treat people. And that's important to me. I think it's important I still have morals and values and integrity.
So are you committed to Duluth to do so many, are you doing like store openings, or will they just have you down to, cook some stuff and bring, drive more foot traffic to a particular store?
Yeah, actually I'm doing a store opening this week, actually here in Texas, just outside of Austin. It's available on my Instagram, DivaQBBQ. And then I have some other future plans with them. I don't really want to get into that yet, but future plans with Duluth are good.
People love to come to this show and say, we got a lot of great stuff that I cannot tell you about. It's like par for the course here, Danielle, as you know. So you had mentioned Traeger.
It really is.
You've had, look, I mean, I don't know if I can recall anybody that's been on this show that has had back in the day when we first got into this whole thing, like you were just buying Traegers. Like that was the brand you just went out and bought. You were just Danielle at that time and with no creds behind you, and worked it into a pretty decent, deal where you're still with the company that you were with, 13 and 14, 15 years ago, however long it's been. So, I mean, what is it about Traeger that you continue to find valuable and a good ROI for somebody that would be going out to buy a pellet cooker?
Well, one of the things is I've directly worked with them for 4 years. I've been working on them for 13 years. One of the things is I hated the old Traeger company before the new owners took over. I thought they were idiots. I thought they were poorly marketed, poorly planned. The research and development was a joke. And they didn't seem to have any planning. One of the things is that I went on the Today Show, the Today Show, the big one.
I've heard it.
And they didn't want to send me grills because they didn't think a woman would represent them well. That was the original Traeger.
Nice.
And so I literally, when the new Traeger owners took over, they asked for a meeting with me, and I told them where to go and how to get there. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And then I learned about them and learned about Jeremy Andrus and his brilliant vision. What he'd done with Skull Candy, how he turned that around. Denny Bruce, Luke, Lawrence, Tyler Stark. There's so many great people at Traeger that have this wonderful vision of a company that is accessing wood-fired goodness for everyone without a fear factor, to make it delicious every single day, and to remove a lot of those fear factors, accessibility, learning curves. And I appreciated all those things. I've owned 65 barbecues in my career, 65 barbecues. And through that, I've had offsets. I've had beautiful reverse flow gravity grills. I've had, the other bigger brands. I've had the widest variety of grills. And the one that I come back to for ease of use and consistency, repeatable results, was always the Traeger. And that's a genuine endorsement. Now, in addition to that, they corrected a lot of the flaws from the previous manufacturing issues. So the last, 7 years now, has been this incredible part of growth where Traeger is the largest, hands down, most successful pellet company in the world. They've developed so much they put so much into the development of the research and development behind the grill that I love the smoke science. I love the smoke technology. I love the fact that they're not just resting on their laurels. They're always looking to make it better. Cleaner smoke, more efficient, better recovery time, Wi-Fi technology, all of those things, better grates, double wall insulated lids. I love that advancement of technology on an ongoing basis because that keeps me excited. it keeps me excited to see the fact that we can sell these grills in Norway. We can sell them in Australia. We sell them in New Zealand. We sell them all over the world. I went to Israel and taught a barbecue class, like, for a week. It was awesome. And so this accessibility to this beautiful American style of cooking, this barbecue awesomeness, is accessible to the world now. And it's easier, and it's more consistent, and it's got this beautiful flavor, and that keeps me going. And so I genuinely love what I do. I truly do every day, teaching barbecue. Like last year, I taught over 4,000 students.
Wow.
This year, I'm going to probably top that number again. I've traveled 147,000 miles this year for barbecue already, and I'm not done yet. I still got a few more months to go.
Speaking.
And so I love our accessibility to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a senior citizen. It doesn't matter if you're a 12-year-old girl. It doesn't matter if you're a 34-year-old man that wants to make, a tailgate party special. I love the fact that everybody can do it. That, to me, is very exciting. All
right, so you love teaching. You've logged hundreds of thousands of miles to do it, and you're going to do something live and in person at Hartville Hardware after a year of vacancy, actually, from both of us. 2017, we were both there together. We will rejoin forces 2019 at the Hartville Hardware Grill Fest in Hartville, Ohio on September 21st. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing there, and if somebody is going to be coming in for the day or for a handful of hours, what they could expect.
So one of the great things about Hartville Hardware is, the store itself. I mean, it is a spectacular store.
Yep.
And then the icing on the cake for me, really, truly, about Hartville Hardware is the people. They have some of the nicest, incredible staff I have ever met. They are such a proponent of all things barbecue. They support local vendors. They do such a brilliant job in the community. So anybody that comes to Hartville Hardware, you're going to see beautiful demonstrations all day long. I'm going to do 3 demonstrations on 3 different meats.
Wow.
We're going to hand out samples. We're going to talk to people about all things barbecue, all things Traeger. The event's sponsored by Traeger. And I'm happy to be going back. Last year we had a logistical issue. I was out of the country, actually, and I was not able to do it. And so I'm really glad I was able to fit it into my schedule this year. And just the opportunity to go back, I get to see you again. We had such a great time before. And it's just a really awesome barbecue event. They're going to do a competition. I mean, there's so much going on there. And then you just get to wander around that store. That store is so much fun. I bought so much stuff from that store the last time I was there. I had to buy another suitcase to go home.
Yeah, I mean, it's the country's largest hardware store, so if that gives you any idea of how big it is. And then it's got a huge area for barbecues and grills and accessories. Outside, they have that nice burn area where you can see things happening. So it's going to be a really great full day. Starts around 10 a.m., and Danielle will be on 3 different times. Also, there'll be some other live demos as well. So, and if people see you around, if you're not busy doing something, they can come up and say hi and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. I'm doing a book signing there. My book, I made a mistake the other day. I posted that my book was going into its 2nd printing. I actually made a mistake, and Random House actually corrected me. They're like, your book just went into its 3rd printing, and that's really exciting. Yeah. They're literally just waiting for me to write another book. I just haven't had time yet. So I'll be there doing a book signing. It's a bestseller. It was nominated for a Gourmand World-Class Book of the Year.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm excited to share all that with everybody.
All right, Danielle, you spend way too much time here away from your bourbon and all those other name drop people that you said about 30 minutes ago. So I appreciate the time. Continue success, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Thank you so much for all your support over the years. I am truly, truly grateful and thankful. And thanks to all your listeners. It's been amazing.
Race to the Fogo Charcoal Hotline, and welcome back the pitmaster of Sugar's Barbecue, Lynnae, Oxley, Loupe on the show. Lynnae, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me out here, Greg. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I don't have Skype right now. My laptop and Skype don't get along, so it's just a phone-in, old school.
I would say most of the time my show and Skype also don't get along for some reason, but, I've muddled through it these last 13 years with a sheer amount of stubbornness, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Yeah. Were you familiar with that creepy song that I was playing just before we got to you, Into the Night? I mean, did you realize it was such a pervy song?
Yes, actually, it's funny. There are a lot of pervy songs, but yeah, the first one, Also, the cherry pie song is just kind of a little bit creepy too.
Yes,
but
yes.
you know, of course, you're dating yourself because I know all these songs, and that was like high school for me back in the day.
Yeah, well, Sirius XM has a yacht rock radio channel, so I just started like listening to that because for some reason I actually envisioned that people that had yachts, this is what they were listening to. So I'm like, well, someday I have to own a yacht, so I got to get ready for the music that I have to tune in when I have my yacht. And it was like a really crappy late 70s and early 80s soft rock. And that song was on it, and my life changed 3 days ago, probably not for the better.
I just bought a new car. I have my catering truck, and then I also have a brand new car that I bought. Treated myself to because I turned 50 this year, so I wanted to get myself a midlife crisis car.
Good for
so
you. Way to go.
Nice little sports car.
Yeah, yeah.
But and so it has you know, a lot of new cars have a couple months of Sirius XM, and so I was filing through some of. Usually I listen to Spotify. I'm usually listening to a couple of different things. One is your show, so I think I've caught up on almost all of your podcasts.
Right. Great, thank you.
And then the filing through some of the files on the Sirius XM because I just don't ever listen to that station. I came upon Yacht Rock and I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was there. It landed on the song that you just played. I don't know who it is, but
yes,
it was very funny.
Well, see, you've fallen into the same trap as me. All right, Lynnae, so let's get to the barbecue business. I don't want to assume everybody knows you or that they've dug back through the archives. So if we could just get a very quick history of Lynnae and how the barbecue bug bites you, and then we'll build in from there.
Yeah, sure. Just in the nutshell, Sugar's Barbecue was born in 2006, and I competed locally in the Pacific Northwest with the Pacific Northwest Barbecue Association, so regional association that kind of governs a lot of the competitions here, Oregon, Washington, somewhat into BC and the surrounding states. And obviously also the KCBS. And so I got started in that, did pretty well, and just kind of got the bug from there and started traveling around doing some competitions, landed myself into some of the larger competitions. And then slowly but surely the competitions started to kind of fade out and Sugars became a business. You know, you have all this leftover barbecue from these competitions and you give it away at work or whatever, and suddenly somebody wants you to cook ribs for their daughter's birthday, or you want to do, you know, and suddenly then you're doing a wedding and then you're doing an office party, and it kind of just blossoms from there. So Sugars sort of morphed from competition to full-on business. And at the same time, I had my day job. I was working in a retail environment in a grocery store at my day job, just doing menial stuff there. And the phone kept ringing. I kept having more and more business, so I left that job. And now Sugars is full-time and has been for a number of years, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made. I mean, it's going gangbusters. I mean, the phone doesn't stop ringing. I'm doing tons of catering. We feed tens of thousands of people a summer and more than that, and then just growing and growing. And in between all that, I also did some television as well. I did Barbecue Pitmasters. A lot of people have seen those series. I mean, and I still get traction from those shows. I mean, that was 2013, 2015, and people still watch those shows. They show them on repeats. My phone blows up every single time they show those shows, and people book our services for catering. And then I filmed a couple of Chopped episodes, and so that took it a little further. And then I've got this new show, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then I kind of, sort of an avenue from the business was the retail line that I've got that we'll talk about here. And then, of course, the barbecue classes. So that's kind of the really quick nutshell of the timeline from pretty much 2006 to current.
A barbecue whirlwind, Lynnae.
Pretty much, it's my life. I mean, I have my home life, but I don't really do much in the way. I don't get out much. I mean, it's constant work. In fact, I'm like looking at my laptop right now, and I'm doing invoicing, waiting for you to call, and doing shopping lists and things like that. But I love to do it. It's a passion. Just listening to just like Robin. I mean, she's in sort of a different barbecue world, but it's still the same thing. I mean, I love empowering other people to cook and teach them, and obviously I like to promote the products that I have that I developed, and that just gives people a little inspiration to go out on their own and do some really cool stuff and grill and cook. And whether it's competition, whether it's backyard barbecue. It doesn't matter to me. It's just all live fire cooking, and it's just one big, huge, happy family. So,
Lynnae,
cool.
Oxley, Loupe joining us here on the show. Sugar's Barbecue, Barbecue. Sugarsbarbecue.com is the website. So let's talk about that TV show that you had just referenced a second ago for as much as we can. August 1st, there is that show hitting the airways. Big Mo was on the show last week, and we talked a little bit about the judging side of stuff. But whatever you're legally allowed to tell me about, what can you say about this show?
Well, I'll preface this by saying my website, sugarsbarbecue.com, is actually what's up right now is the older version of the website. It is being completely overhauled. It's way overdue. So a new version of the website will be launched here in the next week or so. I'm very excited about that. Lots of opportunity to purchase things online, which I don't have the opportunity to do right now. You have to sort of send me emails, and I can send you products. But in any event, as far as the show is concerned, Barbecue Brawl. It's really funny. I was actually looking at it online, and there was actually another show called Barbecue Brawl. And so this one they're calling Barbecue Brawl Flay versus Simon. And so, there was a few pitmasters and myself. We went out to Austin to a private ranch out there earlier this year, and they filmed this show. And I believe it's a 4 or 5 part series. And it was a ton of fun filming. First of all, I love going to Austin. Any excuse to go to Austin and try some amazing food there I'll take it. And if I can get filmed for a television show, it's even better. So, it's kind of like Chopped meets barbecue pitmasters. So there's some mystery food involved with it, and there's a timeline, got to cook something under a certain length of time type of scenario. And then, of course, Mo's a judge. Amy Mills was a judge. And then, Chris Lilly was a judge. I mean, unbelievable, respected judges. These guys know their barbecue. They know their food. They come from different backgrounds, different lines of expertise. So it was fun to sort of get my food judged with, in front of those guys. And then how it all worked out with Bobby Flay and Michael Simon. Those guys were just beasts in the kitchen, and especially on the barbecue grill. It's just watching those guys do their thing in front of you is incredible. I mean, these guys are Iron Chefs, and I don't really watch a whole lot of television, don't have time for that, but I have seen those guys on Iron Chef, and to meet them in person and see what they're doing. I mean, a lot of people kind of blow them off as just these bloated TV personalities and these chefs and stuff. These guys know their stuff. They know how to cook. It was really, really cool. Very inspirational to me as a chef myself, but also as somebody who loves the barbecue. And it's pretty cool. It was a lot of fun to film. I'm just wondering how they package the show, quite honestly. I don't know how they're going to package it. I mean, I think most of the blips that are up there and the little teasers that are up there are saying that we're, very respected pitmasters, which is great. I love that. And then there's this mentor aspect of it, which is kind of cool. So I don't know how, from Bobby Flay and Michael Simon. So I don't know how they're gonna piece it all together in terms of seeing it from the contestant side, so to speak, and then seeing a finished product. And I'm going to watch it at the same time everybody else does, so I don't get any sneak preview or anything like that. So I'm excited to see it. From a business standpoint, it's awesome. It's a great boon for the business. It's free advertising. How can I say no to that? So, from a contestant standpoint, it was a lot of fun, and I had a good time. And you go and you cook your butt off. I mean, I'm no stranger to these competition barbecue shows and cooking shows. I love them. I think I have a great time with them. I mean, they're thrilling. They get me out of my element. They allow me to stretch a little bit of my culinary skill as a chef. So it's not just sort of one note cooking ribs or chicken or brisket or pork, which tends to be a little repetitive after a while. To do some other stuff is a lot of fun.
Mo did mention last week that if you were just a 4-trick pony, and he was obviously referencing the 4 major proteins that you would cook in a competition, that this wasn't going to be the show for you, that you were going to have to know how to do it and use other ingredients and be able to whip up something from scratch, as it were. So was it 2 teams of 4 pitted against each other to a certain degree or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what the division was, and how everyone got to that divide is sort of a mystery at this point. So, and then I mean, he was right. I mean, I was listening to that show, and because I wanted to know his take from the judging point of view, because he sees things that I didn't, and vice versa. You know, and he's right. I mean, this show was not easy. None of them are. You need to showcase a little skill beyond just competition barbecue. And, you know, I chased what I wanted in competition barbecue, got out of it because I just didn't really want to chase it anymore, and got back into just more and more complicated cooking and more chef-driven, seasonal-driven cooking, which also included a lot of live fire cooking and barbecue techniques. So, you know, and I'm doing a lot of really cool stuff. So I think going into this show, as was the same with Chopped, as was the same with Pitmasters, I brought some chef skill, and I brought some you know, some talent in the kitchen to the stage themselves, you know, to the camera. And I wasn't trying to do it for the camera. I just, listen, the bell goes off. We've got 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the time is, and I'm going to cook my ass off, and I'm just going to like throw down and do what I can with the pantry ingredients that are presented, with the time frame I've got, with the cooking equipment that's delivered to me, whether it's a kettle or whether it's a piece of crap grill or whether it's an oven with a grill grate on the top of it, you know, whatever it is, and to make something that's, you know, one that's going to outshine the contestants, because it is a game after all, and that's going to showcase those skill and going to bring some judges a little bit of, you know, something different, maybe something they haven't had. So I think there's going to be a lot of really great things that are going to be showcased in this show coming up. I certainly cooked a lot of really cool stuff. I'm excited for people to see it, so we're going to see what happens with it.
Lynnae, Oxley, Loupe joining me here on the show. Did you know all of the other contestants that were there?
Yeah, we all knew each other, and that was really cool because when we all sort of saw each other for the same time, of course, when they're assembling everybody, you know, we can't really talk to one another. They're not going to divulge who else is on the show. We actually all saw each other. We're like, oh, hey, it was like a reunion. So we had a really good laugh at it, and, you know, they kept us very separate. We really weren't supposed to talk to one another, and because they all sort of knew we knew each other and, you know, talking about stuff. But, you know, you're going to see some surprises as contestants in the show. I'll guarantee you that. You're going to be, like, scratching your head going, what the hell is that person doing there? But at the end of the day, you know what? It's fun, and it gets people watching, and it gets people inspired, and this is a business, and I love doing it for the money because I make a good living on it. But at the same time, I like doing it to inspire other people, especially other women, to get out and grill and bust their ass on the grill. I mean, especially with Robin and and some of the other women that you've had on the show as well that I've become big fans of, and it's just awesome. It's just a lot of fun.
Do you think that the industry has been missing some kind of a new barbecue show, and this is something that is going to help reinvigorate, or is this just kind of another peace bridge to hopefully keep some kind of momentum rolling?
I think, you know, that's a good question. I think how do I answer that? I think to a certain extent, some people will look at this show and go, wow, that was refreshing. That was new. You know, it's a little different spin. It's not the same old regurgitated, you know, just, you know, like, you know, vapid show that gets, you know, aired. And other people will be like, oh, it's the same old, it's the same old crap. It's the same people. We're tired of seeing them. I think there's a lot of excitement with this show. I think it's going to definitely, and I agree with Mo, and he mentioned earlier on his show, it's going to go on for several seasons. It's only going to get better. This is the first show. They got to work out kinks. I mean, that's just with all the rest of them. You know, with Pitmasters, I think the first show was, you know, the granddaddy of the show. They had these, you know, tried and true, ultra, you know, known professionals doing this stuff. And then the second season kind of jumped the shark, and people were making, you know, coleslaw, and they're making, you know, God knows what, and they were judging. It just like kind of lost its track. And then towards the end, it kind of got, I think, back on a little bit, and it got exciting as far as I'm concerned, not only from a participant aspect, but also from a spectator aspect, which was really cool. I think this show is going to be refreshing. Personally, I think it's going to be a good show, and I'm excited to see it. Again, just like I was saying, I'm excited to see how they patch it all together and make a show out of it. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, haters are going to hate, right? And people are going to be there. But I think every season, I think that you gain new followers. You kind of lose some people that are just kind of moving on in their lives, and they're just tired of the same old thing. And then you gain people that are coming up. on a side note, I mean, there are a lot of people in barbecue, a lot of young people that are getting into barbecue. And they're getting into barbecue in Portland, and they're getting into barbecue in New York, and they're getting into barbecue, and they're being inspired by a lot of these shows. They're being inspired by things that they see, that they read. And they're taking hints, and they're taking some tradition from the old guard from Texas or from Kansas City or wherever, and they're going about it and doing some things that they want to do, and they're bringing some amazing food to the forefront and feeding some people, and they're introducing some people to some incredible food. So I think it's as far as I'm concerned, from a spectator aspect, I think it's win-win. From a business aspect, it's win. It can't lose as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's going to be a good. I think it's going to be a good show.
All right, Lynnae, let me ask you a quick question. We got a couple minutes left. I wanted to touch a little bit about, obviously the rubs have been out. You also, I believe, unless I got it backwards, but I believe the rubs have been out, and now sauces are starting to come in. So let's talk a little bit about products and how you were able to stand out in what is becoming an increasingly crowded division of, sauces, rubs, seasonings, and so forth.
Sure, absolutely. The market is crowded. There's a ton of stuff out there. A lot of people have their own spin. The short answer is this. I mean, last year I launched my rubs, and I have them in little 7-ounce pouches. I like the packaging of them. That's unique. It's done all purposefully. These are made by me from the ground up seasonings. I didn't take anybody else's seasonings and add extra garlic to it and call it my own. People do that. That's fine. That's their thing. It's not mine. There's no MSG. There's no flowing agents in there. These are true to form rubs and seasonings. These are ones I used when I was competing, did really well on them. And then these are ones that I use in catering every week in, week out. And the sauces came on this year, and the traction has been tremendous. I mean, the interest has been amazing. I've moved a ton of pallets of product, and they haven't really even hit the website yet at all. And I'm getting I'm basically adding at least 2 to 3 accounts per week, which for me, that's pretty good. I mean, again, I'm doing barbecue classes. I'm also doing the catering, and then I've got this retail line. So it's great. I've got distribution. I'm looking for some national distribution, which is going to come down the pipeline. And so we're all over Oregon, all over the coast. We're getting into Seattle. A lot of grocery stores, independent and otherwise, are picking up the product. So nice. It's wonderful. The sauces, there's no high fructose corn syrup. They're all natural. Really good, clean label product, and that was the whole idea of what I wanted to do. And they're great. They're good. They taste good too. So a lot of positive feedback on these products.
I've talked to folks that are in the business now, and obviously getting into the brick and mortar side is really key to ultimate success. But when we break it down at the end of the day, I mean, we're in business to make money. Are sauces and rubs a revenue stream for you, or is it a break even, and if I can make some money, then that's good? Or, I mean, are you looking to make?
Yeah, so I'm making money on it. I mean, I'm not only just breaking even. I mean, my whole approach to doing the retail line was to, I don't have a brick and mortar. I don't have a space that somebody can come up and buy a slab of ribs or, pulled pork sandwich. So if they want, they got to hire me for catering. Not everybody wants the catering. They just want to have dinner. They just want to have to do something. They've got their own tri-tip steaks, chicken, stuff like that, salmon that they want to put seasoning on. So the idea really is for these rubs and the sauces are to put my brand in somebody's hand and have them have a taste of what I'm doing. And so, and then use it in their own application, whether it's on a stovetop or an oven, whether it's a grill, a low and slow smoker, or on popcorn, or whatever they, corn on the cob, whatever they want to use it on, which is really great. So it kind of transcends lots of just different, applications. It's just not just one. It's just, I want to get my brand into people's hands, and I've had this stuff is long overdue too. For years, I've had people ask me for rubs and sauces, and I just haven't really been honestly there, both financially and also just mentally ready to go about it. The onboarding with some of these companies is tremendous. It takes a long time. It was a learning. It was an education and patience on my end. So it was a lot of fun. I'm glad that things are up. I've got one more rub that I'm going to launch probably by the end of the year. I've got another sauce that's going to launch next year, and I'm excited about those. And that'll make what I consider a nice family of products to get out to the market for people, and it'll give me a nice, give people a nice choice. So I'm really excited about it.
Sauces and rubs are out. If you're lucky enough to live around the catering radius, you can probably get Sugars to come and cater your event as well. And August 1st, you will see Lynnae and a bunch of other folks competing on the new TV show Barbecue Brawl, Flay versus Simon on the Food Network. In the meantime, you can visit the website. That will get rehauled or overhauled or updated or whatever you want to call it here in a week or so, sugarsbarbecue.com. And we are talking with the pitmaster of Sugars Barbecue, Lynnae Oxley Loupe. Lynnae, always appreciate the time. Great getting caught up with you. Let's do it again sooner than later.
Yes, let's do it. Greg, thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye, guys.
You got it. There she is, Lynnae Oxley Loupe. Hey, there you have it. The last show of 2019, as I just mentioned at the, 2 hours ago. It's me again, pre-recording the outro. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that we re-showed you here over the last couple hours. Susie Bullock from Hey Grill Hey, Tuffy Stone, George Moats, Danielle Bennett, and Lynnae Oxley Loupe. Best of 2019. Plenty of the best of moments of 2019, of course, but these were the ones that stuck out in my mind. Want to re-share with you here on New Year's Eve. Also, I want to take a second to thank you for your complete listenership over this calendar year of 2019. A great year of shows. Lots of new great guests, lots of groundbreaking and land-shaking and foundation-breaking stuff happening here with the show. And I am very confident that we are going to continue and foster the new relationships that we made here in 2019, make some new relationships in 2020, and bring you some new great stuff that I don't even have any visibility of. But it's going to come here because this is the show that attracts all the live fire barbecue and grilling news, late-breaking items, announcements, and so forth. I also want to wish everybody a very safe and happy New Year's Eve celebration into New Year's. And don't forget, live shows are right back on, what is that, the 8th or the 7th? Yeah, the 7th. January 7th, we'll be back. Malcolm Reed, Sam the Cooking Guy, all the regulars are locked and loaded for 2020. Don't forget, Derek Riches starts to make his monthly appearance the fourth Tuesday of every month in the first hour in 2020 as well. Embedded correspondents are in. Meathead is in. Robin Lindars is in. Stephen Reichlin is in. The cast of characters, wide sweeping and land breaking. That's the second time I said land break. I'm going to stop that in 2020. That's my New Year's resolution. I'm not even kidding. Okay, so Happy New Year. We'll see you January 7th for the first round of new shows in 2020. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program hosted, proud U.S. American Greg Rempe. Happy New Year. Good night now.